I have a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting, please? Ms. Harry moves. Was that a second, Mr. Brown? Mr. Brown seconds. Any additions or corrections? Roll call.
Mr. Brown? Yes. Mrs. Hanrahan? Mrs. Herron?
Yes.
Mr. Marshall?
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Gardner. Good afternoon. Do you have anything for us?
Not at this time.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Stevens, good afternoon. Anything for us?
Yes. I wanted to share with the Commission Board that we did receive a tax settlement as follows. On April 15th, General Fund, $9,297,000. Bond retirement, $154,000. District maintenance levy, $467,000. High school maintenance levy, $38,000, for a total settlement of $9,957,810. We also did receive the state solvency check on April 8th for $3,685,000. I also shared with the Mansfield City School Board at our last meeting that March 31st, this time last year, in comparison to this year with our utilities, we are saving $183,521 on the utility costs in spite of our harsh winter. Do you want me to go through any of the purchase orders that are over $5,000? Do you have any
No,
questions?
we'll wait till those are on the agenda.
Okay.
This is just an
Okay,
overall report.
that's all
So
I have to
we-
share.
I'm sorry?
That's all I have to
Okay,
share.
thank you very much. Is back to monitoring board?
Yes, you have before you the March monitoring report. There's really nothing specific or outstanding to report. They are on task with their cash flow is as expected. They are at a deficit at the end of March, but as you just heard, they did receive their $3.6 million on April 8th. Everything else seems to be in line. The staffing numbers are staying pretty steady, dropping just a little bit as they go along. So that's what we had hoped to see. And the reconciliation was, as shown, balanced. So really nothing else to report. I reported that they were working on the recovery plan, and we'll be discussing and hopefully approving that draft.
Questions from Ms. Beck? Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Beck. Let's, Ms. Brown, do you have anything you want to?
No.
Thank you. Okay, everybody's gotten a copy of the draft recovery plan, correct? There are a couple things I'd like to say. The first thing is that there are a couple of issues that are still outstanding. Number one, there's a proposal that we've discussed about perhaps taking some of the support services and changing the way the district does that, do that in a more cost-effective way. And any savings that would be realized from that, we could put the money back into the classroom. The reason I'm suggesting that we look at that, and this is not in the plan currently, but under Ohio law, the commission has a responsibility to basically, in my words, look outside the classroom first for savings and reductions. And I think there is an opportunity to do that. And so I would suggest that we, again, this is not in the plan currently, but what I'm suggesting is that we talk about this, and there's some work that has to be done before we can discuss the specifics of this. But once that work is done, I would like to look at the numbers, see what the potential savings are, and then my proposal would be that we not eliminate as many teaching positions as we're currently proposing. And I think we're on solid ground legally with that because that's the way this is supposed to work. We're supposed to protect the classroom. A couple other issues. I think that Springville, my understanding is Springville is not going to be closed under either our proposal. Now the teachers are being riffed, and I think that what that looks like is going to be different. But I think that the facility itself is going to be kept open. I think that the board can address that more fully, but I don't think that anybody is proposing closing that. I've been to the facility. It is a remarkable facility. I agree with the people that testified. I think that would be a shame to close that, but that's not really on the table. What is on the table is restructuring how that is staffed. The final thing is healthcare. I am concerned about the way this district purchases healthcare. Not just the split between the employer and employee, but this district is basically self-insured, and I'm not an expert on healthcare, but I believe that it's very difficult for a district of this size to efficiently self-insure for healthcare. We've had some experience with other districts that have changed how they purchase healthcare, and they've been able to save significant amounts of money. Now, we're not going to have anything ready for our next meeting on that, but I want to keep that on the table because I think that's obviously, and especially with the impact of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. That's the real name of Obamacare for those of you that missed it. With the impact of that, it's going to change the dynamics. So I think that that's something we need to be mindful of. Any changes to the employer-employee share would need to be negotiated. So I'm not proposing anything on that. That's something that is up to the school district board and the employees as far as what they want the share to be. But what I'm thinking we need to look at is how we do that, and is self-insurance the best way to do that. Having said that, I did highlight for the commission members the changes from the first draft. There aren't too many changes, there are a few. And I'd like to open it up for the commission members for any questions or comments that anybody has about the draft. And look, before we do that, let me talk a little bit about the process. Assuming that the commission approves this draft, what I will do, and then I will take the read out and I will make it in more formal form. We will then submit this to Columbus along with the resolution from the commission approving the plan, and then it goes to Columbus for their review. The review process is usually pretty straightforward. What they do is they fundamentally look to see if it works. Does this plan have a reasonable chance of success? Does the district's books balance? Will the district be able to get out of fiscal emergency within a reasonable period of time? And I believe that this plan does meet that standard. And if it does meet that standard, and the folks at the Department of Education, my bosses, if it meets their approval, then they'll approve it and go forward. It's very unusual for a plan not to be approved. In my experience, it's only happened once. And that was because the commission approved a plan that frankly wasn't balanced. So with that exception, I was asked a question, which is a good question: is Columbus going to change the plan? The answer is no. No, they don't change the plan. They either approve it or disapprove it. It's an up or down vote, and I fully expect that they will approve it. I think it's very good. The other thing, that in addition to the finances, the other event that has to happen is that the auditor of state is working on a report on accounting methods. And once that report is done, then there will be findings for changes to the district's accounting methods. I say there will be changes because no school district in the state of Ohio, and I would extend that to no city or town or village or county, does things exactly right. So there's always something the auditor's going to find. I don't know what they're going to find, and I don't know whether they're minor or major, but I promise you they will find things the district isn't doing quite right, because they always do. Now, once that report is done, though, then the district will have to respond to that. So the two things that will keep the district in fiscal emergency, I think we're taking a significant step toward the first part, which is balancing the budget. The second step is that the district's financial policies and accounting methods all need to be amended to comply with state law. So once those two things are done, we can start thinking about requesting release. I don't want to be too premature because we're a ways away from that, but that's the process. Questions? Yes, Ms. Hammerman.
Just wanted, it's not really a question, it's more of a statement, it's kind of reverse Jeopardy here. But I want to make sure that it's clear. We first met on January 2nd, and that started the meter, if you will, running. And the district then had or actually the commission, within 120 days within which to submit a plan. So our 120 days is coming up very shortly, which is why we are meeting now.
May 2nd. May 2nd is the
May
deadline.
2nd, okay. So, again, not a question, but a comment, that plans change constantly, they change with the conditions. And I believe by law we have to at least revise it or submit a revision once a year.
Correct.
It doesn't mean that's the limit, it can be done more than
It will be.
that. Okay, so I just wanted to reiterate that we've got two things to look at. The fact that we have a deadline, and also we have the opportunity to continuously work at this plan.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a good reason for that too. I mean, when we first looked at the 5-year forecast that was presented by the treasurer, she had an assumption on property tax. And it turns out that the actual property taxes, through no fault of hers, were higher. I'm just saying, people do estimates, and by definition, estimates are wrong. Everybody's wrong. It's just a question of how wrong they are. And so it could have just as easily come in lower. So circumstances change, and when circumstances change, we need to reflect that, and we'll take a look at the plan. So we will revise it at least every year, possibly more often than that. Yes, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Marshall, my question for clarification, in this plan, there's no mention of Springville.
Correct.
Which, as the public has spoken tonight, and I think I share that sentiment, it's a phenomenal facility, worth exploring ways to keep it open. However, in here is a number of the teachers who will be riffed. And is there an assumption that all the teachers and support staff at Springville are part of that number?
I think that possibly someone from the board could address this more clearly, but yes, the facility is going to stay open, but the teachers there are going to be reassigned. The question is not, is Springville going to stay open? The question is, how do you staff it? And that's a tough one, because I can see both sides of that. There are different ways that you can do that, and honestly, I'm not sure what the best way is. But yes, the teachers there are on the RIF list, but that does not mean the facility is going to be closed. My understanding.
Sorry.
Would you like to address what you're currently thinking about with Springville? Would you share that?
Well, I can discuss some of the things that Mr. Gardner and I and other people from the board have also discussed with him as far as utilizing it differently. Currently, as you've heard, it's being utilized by 4th through 6th grade. So there are children within our district already who are not getting the full experience. And as I discussed with Mr. Strong on previous occasions, that we need to have a plan to better utilize that facility because we're not utilizing it to its maximum potential. And that's an issue. When we have a building that's open all day with full-time staff there all day, and we have dates, which I'm going to have Rosetta to speak to about its utilization from this year compared to last year. We've had a decrease, although we've had an increase in staff. So that's an issue. So we're just looking at different ways to utilize it and so that more children from our own district can benefit as well as children outside of our district.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
So with what we have here, and we're looking at the draft, we're looking at our resolution to approve personnel actions later. Right now, we know one thing, and that is that for the start of school next year, Spring Mill the doors will be locked and the lights will be off. That's what we know right now today. Is that correct or is that incorrect?
That's not correct. It's, right now, we don't know who's even scheduled for that. We don't have a schedule as far as a plan. And we haven't had a plan up to this point, and that's what I explained to Mr. Strong as well. We haven't had a plan. There hasn't been a plan. I've been on this board for 3 years. I have yet to see a plan to effectively utilize that facility. So granted, yes, there were things when I came onto this board that needed to be developed within the building for it to be developed properly and utilized properly. So yes, I did vote for some things to be developed, but along with that development, we should have had a plan that went along with that, where they were able to utilize that building and you could dovetail into the classroom. And I don't think that there's anyone out here who can say that we've been dovetailing, that we've had those teachers out there, had they gone into the other classrooms, had they gone out into our district with the information and the tools that they have within that facility, have they gone to Malabar, have they gone to senior high, have they done anything with the high school, who has the STEM program started within the high school? We haven't done that. So we're not utilizing it properly. We're not saying that we need to close the doors, turn off the lights, and lock the building. We're saying we need to look at it differently because we have financial issues. We cannot have that building open and not utilize it properly. There are a lot of investors who would like to see us take those things like someone, Ms. Kitchen said, about COSI coming out. Why hasn't anyone from Springville done that? For free, without paying. Why wouldn't they pack up things and take it to the classrooms? We need to look at things differently. So we're not saying we're going to close it. We're going to use it better for all of our children, not for the 6th grade only. There's no reason that the older children can't use it. There's no reason that they can't. There's no reason that not only special needs children can utilize it, but also our integrated classrooms. Why can't they utilize it? I'm saying we need to use it better. We have an excellent facility. That's not the argument. Everyone knows that. We've been showcased everywhere, and I personally said yes. It's looked at as a luxury. We're not treating it like a luxury. We have something that's phenomenal. We're not using it properly. So I don't have an issue with saying that. We're not utilizing it properly. We need to discontinue what we're doing and do something better. It's an excellent facility. That's not the argument. The argument is, are we utilizing it properly? The answer is no. We need to do better. We know better, do better.
From the Commission's perspective, I think it would be helpful to us as well if we could get something a little more specific about, because I think we're all in agreement.
And as it develops, as you've said, as we go along, we can develop how we're going to utilize it properly. We can have a plan, which is what we haven't had up to this point. We need a plan. We need to use it better, and we're not doing that.
It's good. I think it's good to see the board's support of Springville. In fact,
Absolutely,
above where it
we've
is
never
today.
not supported it. The board never went to the public to say that we were closing it. We never did that. That came from someone else. And I refuse to go to the public and say something. I'm not going to speak for the people who are part of this team, the people who've had to deal with the RIF list, the people who are actually in the classrooms and are looking at the plan. That's not appropriate. It's out of place, it's out of order for people to go to the media and report what they think should be reported. It's out of order. You
So it's
conduct
real clear.
business and then you deliver the plan once you have the plan, but it's still developing.
It's real clear the board fully supports Springville.
Absolutely.
The question I would have then, and I'm surprised there wasn't a plan laid out for it.
I was very surprised.
Who is responsible for that and when would we see that?
Well, I would think that the people who were developing the building and had all of the wonderful layouts should have come up with a plan. And as I've said, this is my first year as the president, so I'm one who questioned. I would like to see a plan. We don't have one at this point.
So Brian, would that be something that you would oversee or how would that go about?
Sure, I could oversee that. I've had my thoughts about Spring Mill and the future of the building and its use. And most certainly, I mean, we're going to look to the future and using that building to the fullest extent.
Oh, great. And then